the one Brandon Cantu just looked down at. Two black aces against the jacks, and queens are in there as well.
For two orbits where somebody got a flush and trips and have no chance in either one. Happens every day. Just to me.
1600.
Cantu limped the aces. Savage made it 400. Young, 3-betting from the straddle to 1600, and Cantu still gonna slow play.
How much do you have, Justin? Start with 15, lost maybe 1500, so 13 and a half-ish.
No!
Total.
Don't do it. No.
Savage, the big stack at the table, has all comers covered.
4,500.
He did it.
Has no patience, look at his face and in his eyes. He's been way bound to the die. Always taking chances, all those conversations. Don't know if I'll make it, don't know why he even tries. Say, oh, I am a believer. Oh, don't know where I'll be if I'm not free to take a lead. Oh, I am a believer. Oh, ground beneath my feet, but I don't flee cause I believe. I'll stay down to the ground.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Raising the Nuts. This is part 3 of my trip out to Vegas to play on Poker After Dark. For part 3 here, we're starting up on day 2, playing 25-50 no limit. If you haven't watched the first 2 parts, you can check them out up over here. Real quick, coming up very soon is my first ever meetup game, Maryland Live. The interest list is actually up, and there are 52 people on the list, which just blows me away. I can't believe there's that many people on the list already. The game is on Saturday the 24th, August 24th, at 4 p.m. All the information will be listed below in the description box. Please call this phone number here to sign up on the interest list. And then additionally, my second meetup game at Rivers in Schenectady, New York, that interest list is also up, and there are 26 people on that list, which is just crazy to me also. The phone number here to put your name on the list is there as well, and you can also get a $100 room rate by using the code WPTDSNY if you need a room to stay. All right, let's get into the video. It's another beautiful morning in Las Vegas. I'm way more comfortable going into today's session. Excited to play, and I record this as I'm walking in where I didn't know what to say, and I just said, have fun over and over again. So I just edited this out, and the camera's shaking all over the place. Whatever. All right, so playing 25-50 in for 10K to start. Same lineup of players as yesterday, and I get off to a hot start. Right into action. First hand off the deck, I have Ace King of Hearts under the gun, raised to $200. Barry calls next to act, and Brandon calls in the big blind. Both their ranges are going to be really wide. Unfortunate to have Barry on my direct left again for day 2. Good thing is that I do have position on Brandon, so that's obviously a pretty positive thing. The flop, they don't show it here, but the flop comes down Ace 6-4 with 2 diamonds, and when it checks to me, I decide to bet 2/3 pot, about $400. I think just clear value bet, obviously. Their range is going to be really wide and include a lot of draws, and then obviously some worse ace-x hands. So want to start building a pot against those hands. Barry makes the pretty quick call, and Brandon folds. When Barry calls, his range is super wide still. Could have all pairs, could have straight draws, could have flush draws. And also apparently unpaired, no diamond floats. Turn card is the 9 of diamonds, which obviously completes the flush. And I kind of go back and forth here whether I should bet or not. I want to bet to charge some of those 1 diamond draws. Hands like pocket 7s with a diamond, or hands like, 6-7 offsuit with the 7 of diamonds. But I think ultimately deciding to check over to him is fine. I think he's going to just bet a lot of air hands like he actually has here. And he also might bet some worse aces as well, so I don't miss out on too much value there. And if he does check back, I can go for a very big river bet for value on blank cards. Once I do check, I obviously have an easy call here, and we take the river. Offsuit 7 on the river, so some straight draws do get there, some 2-pair combinations get there. Not too concerned about those. I check it over to him, still trying to induce a bluff, and he goes for a $2,200 bet. And I think for a little bit, obviously I'm just beating a bluff here. I don't think he's going to be value betting worse hands very often. Maybe a hand like ace-jack or ace-queen, but not very often. So I just beat bluffs here. There are going to be a decent amount of those bluffs that are just random floats on the flop, and some hands that have a pair that are turning them into a bluff. This seems like a good spot to talk about how I approach poker in general. I put my opponents on ranges based on what I've seen from them at the table, or if I haven't seen anything from them at all, then I use what I would think their baseline strategy would be. When you have somebody who is going to just be in there with a lot of different hands like Barry is, you just add in a lot of random combinations. So it becomes really difficult to ever fold any kind of value hands against those type of people, and they just get to make the money when they actually have a good hand. There's a video that Doug Polk just put out on exploitative and GTO play. Obviously, a lot of people like to talk about that type of thing. He explains that you don't have to just be one or the other. You don't just have to be a GTO player or an exploitative player. Very much agree with that statement, and I've basically done that my entire poker career. I've played over 10 million hands. I've played for a living for 15 years. So I made a commitment to myself to always trust my instincts, to be very cognizant of what the theoretical approach is, but to just trust my instincts in game and go with what my gut says. There's times when you just deviate from what you think the correct theoretical play is, and you just make a play that you feel is correct. I have a lot of experience playing both live and online. So I've been able to blend both of those backgrounds to come up with a solid all-around game plan. So ultimately, I decide on a call, and he says, "You got it." And this is actually extra funny because he actually sat down and said, "I'm not going to bluff at all today." And this was the first hand off the deck, and he bluffs.
You know what? I
Keeping
have a
Woods
lot of
honest.
respect. He came and said,
Same
"I'm not
logo,
going to
not
bluff
looking
against
sexy.
anyone today." The very first that was a value bet. He's in there
Oh, he bluffed?
bluffing every street.
I like it.
He said he wasn't bluffing any
I wasn't bluffing. It was a
today.
value bet that was poorly executed.
You did that yesterday, too.
Not too long after that, I pick up Ace-King again. Jeff opens to 175, and Justin 3-bets next to act to 600. When it gets to me in the big blind, I'm going to obviously put in the cold 4-bet here. Justin and I are about 15K effective, so I need to choose a pretty large sizing. I think if Jeff puts any chips in the pot, I'm probably just going to fold. Not sure what I'm going to do if Justin responds aggressively, but I want to pick a sizing that charges his worst hand and starts to build a pot. He's going to have a pretty wide range here, 3-betting Jeff, I think, in this spot. Jeff obviously folds here with the ace-deuce of diamonds, and Justin has a snap fold here with 8-9 offsuit.
And he goes to work.
You know, you have to focus.
I have a hard time watching.
The early heater to start here continues. I open pocket threes to 200, get a call from Barry next to act, and Brandon in the big blind. When I flop bottom set here, I can definitely check this some of the time. I decided to bet in this case, and unfortunately, neither of my opponents had anything to continue with.
Too bad, huh?
Nah.
Got it all, boys.
I honestly, I don't let any of that stuff really affect me. Because,
This is the very next hand. I open ace-queen of diamonds under the gun to $200. And Barry puts in a small 3-bet, making it $550. Folds back around to me. I can definitely put in a 4-bet here against Barry, but given that I'm under the gun and he's under the gun 1, even though his sizing is pretty small, I think calling is probably still the best option. Definitely consider a 4-bet here, but calling is going to be fine. I have a hand that plays really well post-flop. Decent flop for my hand as I flop a double gut shot and 2 overcards. Also a decent flop for what my range should be, so I would think that Barry should check back a fair amount. I don't know if that means he actually will or not, but he does in this case. I turn the straight. There's now 2 flush draws possible, so I think betting for value seems like it makes the most sense. So I go ahead and bet $900. Barry makes it $2,100, which is kind of interesting. I would expect him to bet king, queen, and ace, queen a lot on the flop, pocket queens as well. So I don't think he has too many queen X combinations at all, which means that he probably has a bluff a lot of the time. He could occasionally have a hand like pocket 7s or maybe like 8-7 that's just trying to see the river cheaply, in which case just calling for me might be a mistake. But I think I just want to call with all of my hands here and proceed to the river, allow him to keep his bluffs in. The front door flush gets there, which I should actually have more than he should. So I actually considered betting this river here just to bluff off a chop, but then reconsidered thinking I would want him to continue bluffing if he did have clubs, maybe continue betting if he has a 7x hand, or who knows what he has if he just has random 2 small cards that he's trying to turn into a bluff for some reason. I would give him a chance to bluff here. He actually starts talking a little bit here, which you're not going to hear on the audio here, saying something about how the flush got there. I didn't really know what to make sense of that, but I have a hand that's going to just be calling, and there's no point in doing anything else. So after he makes the bet of $3,500, I make a pretty quick call. You'll notice that I actually put the chips in here, even though I expect to get them back a lot. This is something I've always done in live poker when I make a call on the river. Not only is it faster for the game, but you lose the attachment that you have to the chips, and having to pay them out afterwards feels just a lot more painful after you realize that you made the wrong call. So I've always just put the chips out there, and then in this spot, we get to hear the nice words that you want to hear when you put some chips out there on the river.
but
God, how do you keep doing that?
he'll get paid.
I think I was like 9,500,
Wow.
1,500.
You got the straight, I guess.
Nice
hand.
Don't put me on the king. That would have been a 5 of clubs. You called?
Yes.
Yeah, he would.
At least I know I'll get paid when I get it.
Perhaps the silver lining.
You get paid if you get it. You get paid if you get it.
You get a
Brandon
look at
gets
Trevor
paid if
Savage's
he
bio
gets it.
board. Over $500,000 in career tournament earnings for the poker professional. Vlogger. East Coaster from Jersey.
At least I let Justin.
Father of 3.
I was waiting to see if I could say my name as he.
So here I am, smiling, so happy, up 10K after 30 minutes of the session, picturing myself winning 50 to 60K on the session. Gonna head over to the forum shops, buy everything they have in there, buy everything the kids want in their life, and just ride off into the sunset. But this is no limit hold'em, and anything can happen in one hand.
Justin's going to wake up to a nice one in the straddle here. Although not as nice as the one Brandon Cantu just looked down at. 2 black aces against the jacks, and queens are in there as well.
For 2 orbits for somebody to get a flush and trips and have no chance in either one. Happens every day. Just to me.
1,600.
Cantu limped the aces. Savage made it 400. Young 3-betting from the straddle to 1,600, and Cantu still going to slow play.
How much do you have, Justin?
Start with 15, lost maybe 1,500, so 13.5-ish total.
Okay, so this hand. On the surface, this hand just looks like a cooler. We have pocket queens against Brandon Cantu, who put in $8,100 the night before with 10-9 offsuit, who cold called 3 bets with 10-7 of clubs and other hands like that. So from a theoretical standpoint, 4-betting here I think makes the most sense. We want to really punish his cold call range. Even though he limped on the gun and then called 1,600 cold, he still has just a ton of other hands, in theory. Now, what really upset me about the way that I played this hand is that I knew we were 40 minutes in and I knew that he was playing differently. I could feel that he was playing differently than he was the night before. He had limited money on him, so I knew that he wasn't going to get wild, and he hadn't done anything in the 40 minutes to show that he was going to play like he did the night before. Not to say that he wouldn't possibly do that, but he hadn't done it so far. And so I felt like this was kind of out of character for how he had been playing throughout the day. My intuition said to just flat here, and I think it also makes sense to flat given that Justin has 13.5K, and if I 4-bet here and he jams, I'm going to be in a really tough spot because I'm going to have to call, I think, because there's going to be enough ace-king combinations, and I do fine against a range of ace-king, aces, and kings, but it's not ideal.
4,500.
In comes the 4th scoop.
I think it still
Mike
works,
has
though. You're
made
right.
good.
Viewers,
on his
At least I don't have to play for that. At least I don't have to pay for the TV.
You might have.
Once I do put in the 4-bet and Justin folds and then Brandon jams, I have no choice but to call, as it's a disaster if I fold and he has a hand like jacks or ace-king or any other possible hands that he could possibly have. You can see by the look of my face that I wasn't happy about it. And I'm not just being results-oriented here. It was definitely an intuition thing where I felt something was up and I didn't act on it for fear of looking like an idiot when I just flat with queens and he has something like 10-8 suited and then flops 2 pair or something. I kind of regret that one in the long run, but couldn't really do much about it in the moment, and it is what it is. I can still win this pot 18% of the time, so how about this time?
Looking to do it again, and the 7-5 deuce rainbow board certainly tips the scales even more heavily in his favor. Running it just once. Turn is clean. Now all he has to do is fade a queen to quadruple up on his original 5K to a roughly 20K stack.
Nope, not this time.
You somehow had money in this pot, right?
I did. I had 2 jacks.
Small case of the shakes there.
Straddle.
I
Got 2 picks.
thought it
Brandon
would have been flop.
cut that stack out.
Yeah. Limp, raise, re-raise, flat.
So much pain in having to pay the chips out.
Brandon never even put a chip in. That's awesome. That's
Talked about the
pretty
feast
good to
and
get all the
famine
money
sort
and
of
never put one
playing
back.
style.
I was very card dead for the next 35 minutes, and then I tried to get some revenge here on Brandon. He opens to $200. I have the ace-10 offsuit, put in the 3-bet to $800. I think my hand's going to play far better as a 3-bet versus Brandon's pretty wide range rather than flatting. It also gets the pot heads up with him a large percentage of the time, whereas my hand doesn't play as well multi-way. He makes the call and we take the flop heads up. This flop should actually hit him much more than it hits me, and having the open-ended straight draw here and ace high, I think it makes sense for me to check back. I can start bluffing with hands like king 10 and some combinations of king queen. Additionally, if I do have some overpairs and strong hands, I can check this flop a fair amount. I turn a straight, which is obviously a very nice card for me to hit. When he checks now, I just got to start betting for value. I'm going to choose a smaller sizing here because I shouldn't have too many bluffs. I guess the bluffs that I'll start bluffing are hands like ace queen and king queen, but I can choose a pretty small sizing here and bet for value and protection with some hands as weak as 1 pair hands. Once he makes the call, I'm feeling obviously pretty good about my situation here and looking to get a pretty big river value bet in. The river is a complete blank, and when he checks it over to me, I decide on 2/3 sizing. Brandon tends to like to call a lot in a lot of spots. If I do have a bluff here, I'm going to probably choose around this sizing as well. I think I'm not betting 1 pair hands again for value on this river, but I'm not sure. I'd have to really consider. Against Brandon, I probably would actually. Just looking to get the call here, and he cuts out the chips to make the call, but unfortunately folds his hand. I don't get any of those Brandon dollars back. I was card dead again for the next 45 minutes, and that led into the first break.
All right, first break. Got off to a hot start, was up probably about 10K, and then got it all with queens against Brandon's aces for 20K pot. Did not win that, so about even here now after the first 2 hours of play. 4 more hours today. Feeling good, gonna keep playing well.
Thanks as always for watching, of course, and I will be back very shortly, a couple days, with the final video of this series. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the series, and hopefully I'll see you guys at the meetup games this weekend and next week. Thanks again. Please click the like button, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys soon.
Say, oh, I am a believer.